Our top story this evening, it's been a big blow for the Uddhav Thackeray camp in his fight against Eknath Shinde. The Supreme Court today has refused to stop the Election Commission from deciding who forms the real Shiv Sena. Now, Uddhav Thackeray's faction had requested the Supreme Court to stop the Election Commission from deciding on the claim of the Eknath Shinde-led group over the real Shiv Sena and its symbol. Now, Uddhav Thackeray's government in Maharashtra, as you know, fell in June after a coup that was led by his former aide Eknath Shinde. He split the Shiv Sena that was founded by his father Bal Thackeray. Now, Mr. Shinde went on to form a new government along with the BJP. Team Thackeray, meanwhile, approached the Supreme Court seeking the disqualification of the rebel MLAs led by Mr. Shinde. Now, if the MLAs are disqualified, Mr. Shinde's government could be in trouble. Of 55 Shiv Sena MLAs, Mr. Shinde has the support of 40. He also has most of the party MPs on his side, 12 out of 18. Mr. Thackeray had asked the Supreme Court to hold any decision on the real Shiv Sena until the disqualification question was settled. A constitutional bench of the Supreme Court deliberated on the matter and has now decided that the Election Commission can go ahead and decide who the real Shiv Sena is. Is it Uddhav's or is it Mr. Shinde's? There are reactions coming in quick and fast. First, let's hear Arvind Sawant, who belongs to the Uddhav Thackeray camp.
We honor the decision of the Honorable Supreme Court, which said that the Election Commission can go ahead with it because it is an independent autonomous body. The case was pending for long with them, and they felt that this should be independent of the disqualification issue. And therefore, the Honorable Supreme Court said let the process of the Supreme Court continue. So we will now go to the Election Commission, as well as the case of the other case will remain.
Is this a setback for the Uddhav Thackeray?
It's not a question of setback. The other day we got the Dashara. What is that? It's not a setback. What for setback? They have given to continue with that. We will plead over there. There also we will have to argue.
Let me go straight across to Harish, who is joining us live from the national capital. He was the one tracking proceedings in the Supreme Court. Harish, help us understand on what basis has the Supreme Court's constitutional bench taken the decision that the Election Commission can go ahead and decide who the real Shiv Sena belongs to?
Yes, in fact, a very significant development in the Sena versus Sena political turmoil. And today's order essentially means that Supreme Court has given the Election Commission a free hand to decide which is the real Sena. Is it Uddhav's or Shinde's, and who will have the symbol bow and arrow. So Supreme Court today dismissed the petition filed by Uddhav camp seeking a stay on the Election Commission of India proceedings, where Shinde camp had moved, seeking claim over the party that they wanted to be recognized as the real Shiv Sena. Not only this, they had also state claim over the party symbol, bow and arrow. Kapil Sibal, who had appeared for Uddhav Thackeray, had argued that several connected matters are pending in Supreme Court, like disqualification of the Shinde MLA sought by the Uddhav camp, several questions regarding defection, merger and disqualification, and also even the role of the governor, speaker and deputy speaker is under the scanner of the Supreme Court. At this juncture, the Election Commission's hand should be held back. The proceedings should be stayed because all the issues before the Election Commission are also interlinked with what is pending before the Supreme Court. And therefore, in the interest of justice and ensure that no prejudice is caused to Uddhav Thackeray, the proceeding before Election Commission should be stayed. But Justice Chandrachud was observed that Election Commission is also another constitutional body, and the issues before the Election Commission has nothing to do with defection, merger, or in fact, the disqualification. And Election Commission had also in the past decided in such a situation which is the real party, which is the real, and also regarding the symbol. Therefore, there is no ground to hold the proceedings before the Election Commission. And saying so, the Supreme Court has in fact dismissed the petition filed by Uddhav Thackeray seeking a stay on the Election Commission proceedings. So the biggest takeaway is that Election Commission can decide which is the real Shiv Sena and who will have the possession of the party symbol, bow and arrow.
Okay, Harish, we'll
Back
leave
to
it
you.
there for the moment. Thank you very much. Harish there was the one who was tracking proceedings in the Supreme Court today. We have Namit Saxena, who is an advocate on record for the Supreme Court. He's joining us on the broadcast. Sajid Supariwala is a Shiv Sena spokesperson. He's joining us on the broadcast as well. And we have Ketan here, Ketan Vaidya, who tracks the Supreme Court very closely. Ketan, you're joining us on the broadcast as well. Help our viewers understand what today's decision by the Supreme Court means for Uddhav Thackeray. Okay, they are saying that they are going to, go and appeal to the Supreme Court once again. What's their problem with the Election Commission deciding on matters on who the party belongs to, who the symbol belongs to?
So it has been a long stretched out battle for the Shiv Sena Shreya. What today was important because Supreme Court is currently seized with an array of petitions from disqualification to various petitions that were filed by both the sides at various points of time during this whole rebellion. But today's petition was whether Election Commission can continue to hear a petition from both the sides, the Uddhav faction and the rebel Shinde faction. So what today Supreme Court has said is it has allowed Election Commission to hear. So far, both Senas, the rebel camp was claiming that they are the real Sena. Uddhav camp was saying that no, we are the parent party. A majority of our members in the Legislative Assembly as well as the Parliament may have openly owed their allegiance to the Shinde camp. Yet we are the core Sena. It's my father's party. That is what Uddhav Thackeray said at various public functions. Now what has happened is the whole question of symbol, the whole question of identity will be in front of Election Commission. There are BMC elections coming. So now, although Supreme Court has given this order, but this order is going to have strong political on-ground ramifications.
And I'm trying to understand why Uddhav Thackeray doesn't want to let the Election Commission decide on the matter and why they went to the Supreme Court in the first place. But I do believe that Eknath Shinde has now spoken, reacted. I think he's speaking in Marathi. Let's play out that soundbite and then we'll get Ketan to translate that for us.
लोकशाहीमध्ये घटना कायदा नियम याच्यावर आधारित निर्णय होत असतात आणि लोकशाहीमध्ये बहुमताला महत्त्व असतं. त्यामुळे आज बघायला गेलं तर बहुमत जे आहे आमच्याकडे आहे, विधानसभेत पण आहे आणि लोकसभेत पण आहे. त्यामुळे जो काही निर्णय सुप्रीम कोर्टाने घेतलेला आहे त्याचं मी मनापासून स्वागत करतो.
Okay, Ketan, would you want to tell us what the Chief Minister was saying?
Well, the Chief Minister was largely saying that it is democracy and the Supreme Court has the right to decide on these issues, and hence we welcome what the Supreme Court has said. So basically he has welcomed, and he feels that it's another step in the direction of giving credence or giving credibility to his rebellion.
Sajid, come in here. You're representing the Shiv Sena, the Uddhav faction, and now you have to, clarify to viewers who's representing what faction. Help me understand this. The fact is that Eknath Shinde has most of the MLAs with him, a majority of the MLAs with him. He has most of the MPs with him. Why is Uddhav Thackeray continuing to say that this is my party? And what's the problem in letting the Election Commission decide whose party is it, whether it is Mr. Shinde's or whether it is Mr. Thackeray's? Why not let the Election Commission, have a say? Ultimately, they are the deciding authority on all such matters.
Time and again, we have been told this, and I've been replying to every media on the same. That 40 MLAs have gone away, the party is finished, the party is over, it is taken over by Eknath Shinde ji. But that is nothing like that. The party does not stand on those 40 elected MLAs. They are elected because of the party. And the people who are there with the party on ground, that is the most important factor. Right now, being a Shivsenik, I would only say one thing, that people will decide whose party it is, not anybody else. Morally, the symbol or the party was established only by the great Balasaheb Thackeray, which was a dream of his father, Prabodhan Thackeray ji. Now coming back to the symbol, who had applied for the symbol, who had applied for the name, who had registered it, it was done during that time. Now just because you are taking 40 MLAs away and you are claiming that the party is also mine, you became the CM of Maharashtra. How you became the CM of Maharashtra? Mr. Devendra Fadnavis ji is the deputy CM. What happened? What games were played? All that is past and history now. Coming back to your question, the party, if you see the last Gat Pramukh Merawa which was happening in Goregaon, you would realize who the party is, real Shiv Sena. The people gathered over there had not come by getting paid. They had come because they are loyal towards the Thackeray family, which has established a Shiv Sena. This is not about people time and again have been calling it a dynasty or whatever, nepotism, how it is called in Bollywood also, those terms were being used. Now coming back to Uddhav Thackeray, the great Bala Sahib Thackeray had already told the Shiv Senics that now I'm leaving Uddhav and Aditya in your hands. Now you decide how you want to do, what you want to do, whom do you want to follow. Those were the last words of Bala Sahib Thackeray, and people from the Shiv Sena who have deserted Shiv Sena and went away to join hands with the BJP now to form a government, they should have kept the final words of Bala Sahib Thackeray and accepted. And this is what the real Shiv Sena is. But just because you're calling yourself a Shiv Senik and going away and joining hands with rivals, I don't think that is the right way.
Okay,
now,
Sajid.
Election Commission will decide.
Essentially, you're telling me that the Thackeray's are the Shiv Sena and the Shiv Sena is the Thackeray's, and then you're saying don't charge us with nepotism. That's exactly what it is. The fact is, out of 55 MLAs, correct me if I'm wrong, 40 have walked out with Mr. Eknath Shinde. Of 18 MPs, 12 MPs have walked out. So, if charges of nepotism are made, they will stick, right, Sajid?
No. I'll tell you something. It is about who has registered the party, who has registered the symbol, and how people have run the party. They have never claimed to run the party on their own. It is a democracy. They have given chances to people who had been, as you only say, auto rickshaw drivers also have been given the chance of becoming ministers in the future. So the party has always picked up people from the common people and established them, giving them tickets, and the vote has been generated only because of the party and the symbol. So that was my only question to you. No, I'm not answering. I'm questioning you. Am I saying what I'm saying is right? Have you already, cleared it with you that definitely what has happened is they have picked up the common man and given the...
Well, all the common men they picked up seem not to like them enough to have stayed with the party. All of them have walked out, right? So it's, you can say what you want to right now, but the fact is that Mr. Shinde has the numbers. Let me get in Namit Saxena here.
Only 40 and 50 people will not decide the future of a party.
They are your MLAs.
The public will decide.
They are MLAs who fought the election under the banner of the Shiv Sena.
We are talking about the party, we are not talking about the government. The
Namit
government
Saxena
could have been toppled.
Okay.
Yeah, what?
Okay, let me get in Namit Saxena here. Namit Saxena, is this a win for Eknath Shinde? Because by the sound of it, Ketan, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is going to be appealed in the Supreme Court. Although this was a constitutional bench, so I don't know if there's a there's a petition for a review that can be filed or not. Maybe it can. Namit, maybe you are a better person to tell us that.
See, I must point out with Mr. Sajid did, I at least counted 3 self-goals by him and then I stopped counting. What the Supreme Court has done today is, see, this is not a victory for, either of the camps, but definitely, it is tilted towards the Eknath Shinde camp because this petition was filed by Uddhav Thackeray saying that we are the real Shiv Sena and please don't, please stop the ECI from taking a decision either way during pendency of this petition. What the Supreme Court has done is, the Supreme Court has said we will not stop the process of adjudication of ECI because ECI, like us, the constitutional functionary, we cannot deprive ECI of the statutory duty that we can do. So, the ECI will take, whatever decision they have to take and pass necessary orders. These orders which the ECI passes after hearing both factions are not immune to judicial review also. They can very well be challenged and, they can very well be adjudicated if they the wrong decision either way.
Correct.
That way, I don't see that this is a victory for either of the camps. So definitely, this is tilted towards the camp because, Thackeray camp wanted this to stay and not that ECI should not take a decision. Or, Sajid Supariwala is saying if they have an absolute case like this, why did they even seek, I stay, by the constitution bench of the country or the country? One. Second, regarding a review being filed, the review is very limited. One, because there's an interim order. Second, review before a constitution bench will be extremely limited to an error apparent on the face of record. Third, a constitution will have to be created even, to hear a review petition because only, the same quorum can
to a similar forum, an order passed by a similar forum. So I don't see that likely to be happening. And by the time, even if it happens, the ACI will take a decision either way. So what the Supreme Court has done today is perfectly all right in terms of, what the law prescribes. They have said we will not stop the process of adjudication and final adjudication. See, what the Thackeray faction should have rather asked is, if they, smartly they should have done this. They should have asked that whatever ACI, whatever final order the ACI will pass will be subject to the outcome of the petition. That's not there. So, whatever ACI will do, ACI will, appear both.
Namit, I want to understand one thing from you. I want to understand one thing from you, and I think our viewers would want to know this as well. What you're telling me is that what the Election Commission has said is an interim order, and the hearing in the Supreme Court will also continue. Is that what you're saying?
No. What the Supreme Court has done is, because there's an interim order, there's no final adjudication of all the matters. Because and also pointed out that there are like a batch of matters pending before the Supreme Court, which the Supreme Court is seized of, including, defection, etc., etc., etc. So this was just one faction of it, the one of it which has now been disposed of by the Supreme Court, saying that we will not disturb the ECI. Let ECI take a decision either way. We'll stop that process. This is what the Supreme Court has done today. So there's an interim vertical. There's not final adjudication on the entire issue which is pending before the Supreme Court.
Just come in here before I end this discussion. Just come in here, Ketan. So by the looks of it, this is going to be a long-drawn battle, right? And the BMC elections are coming. How does this play out then? Who fights with the symbol? That's what I'm trying to understand. Because if it's a long-drawn battle and the Election Commission will, of course, take its time to decide, what happens if there is no decision?
Precisely, Shreya. So, be it parties, be it symbols, these are all issues in front of the Election Commission. But the way Sena was looking at it, and this was something that they were fearing, because what this gives is, I'll repeat myself, gives credence to the Sena camp, because they have almost...
Sena camp? Now you better clarify.
Yeah, Kaunsa Sena camp, the Shinde camp. It gives credence to them, because so far they were using a Marathi word called Mindhe Sena, which means a compromise Sena. So they were saying that this was the compromise camp, it was the BJP is doing, and so on and so forth. Now, the Election Commission will treat it as a legit camp, and this will impact BMC, this will impact elections, and a cadre-based party works on symbols, it works on the bow and arrow symbol, the recall value of Balasaheb Thackeray and all that. So this is also all about legacy, and taking the legacy narrative forward when it comes to BMC elections. So this has definitely created some problems for the Sena Uddhav camp.
So, this month has been then essentially a mixed bag for Uddhav Thackeray. On one hand, the Dussehra rally, the big Dussehra rally, can be held at Shivaji Park, where his father has always held a rally. But on the other side, you have what the Supreme Court has said today. So a mixed...
I'll quickly add, on the streets of Mumbai, you see bow and arrow, but the first question you have to ask is whose bow and arrow it is. Is it Eknath Shinde camps, or is it of the original Shiv Sena?
So this is a battle for legacy, and it's not going to be settled anytime soon. It will be long drawn. We leave it there for the moment.
Clearly.
Namit, thank you very much for joining us. Sajid, thank you very much. And Ketan, thank you very much for joining us as well. Let's shift our focus to the other